Hello, my Darwins. Again, I'm Vampire Ian, and welcome to Batty Decks, the series where I give you a profile on a deck that I've brewed up on a whim for your entertainment. So, I finished up the work on the last version of the Evol deck profile, and then I discovered that Age of Overlord, the next core set immediately after Duels Nexus, has a bunch of cards that significantly improve the deck. I am so mad. On the other hand though, now I have a much better deck to show you that I think is genuinely ready to be a rogue contender. So let's check it out. So here's the deck. Well, you know most of the deck by now, so not much need to give an introduction on the Evols other than that they're evolution monsters that go from lizard to dinosaur to dragon. Last time we built the deck we focused around a 2-card combo involving Folis and the yugioh, which left us with poor consistency that we spent a lot of the deck space filling with consistency boosters to fix, stuff like Small World. But no longer! Age of Overlord has given us a new archetype that significantly increases the consistency of a 1-card combo that we can use instead. The new lore card, Diabell the Dark Witch, in addition to being my wife and a treasure hunter with dark magic, can discard a card to summon itself and then sets one of the Sinful Spoils spell cards on the field. One of those spells, the original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye, allows us to send a face-up card on field like Diabellestar to special summon a level 1 fire monster from deck. While this is meant to summon out a Snake Eye monster, it can easily be used to generically summon Rescue Ace Hydrant, TG Rocket Salamander, and of course, Evoltile Mega Kyrella. Since Mega Kyrella can start an Evol combo all on its own, and Diabellestar even sets up a graveyard for us, my wife significantly improves the deck, especially since she has an in-archetype searcher that makes her oh so easy to find. The addition of a consistent 1-card combo means we can drop all of the bad consistency enablers like Small World that we're using for our 2-card combo setup, leaving us with more space in the non-engine that'll give us play going second. Those are the main differences you'll see in this version of the deck, so let's go ahead and get into the card by card. First up, let's start with our Evols. We are still running the 3 Folis, because Folis searching Evoforce is good even on its own and even better with the yugioh. Speaking of, we're running 1 Evoltile in the yugioh. Since we aren't focused on the 2-card combo of Folis and the yugioh, we can really cut down on this card. But since we have a way to search it, and if we have Folis in hand, it improves our end boards by giving us an extra dino on field, we're going to keep one in. We have 3 Mega Kyrella, our MVP for the deck. Its effect to tribute itself to summon an Evolstar is essential for the deck, but keep in mind that it also requires a discard. The other effect is still crazy too, allowing us to refill a spent Evolstar. In the Evolsaur category, it's basically the same ratios except we cut Xenometeorus, which was always a little bit cope, in favor of another Evolsaur Leos. Since Leos can set Evo Singularity on normal or special, and it can Foolish Burial when normaled or specialed by a fire, dino, or reptile, normal summoning Leos lets us create an okay board in a pinch. Another reason to increase the number is that pitching it for Mega Kyrella or Diabellestar sets up the graveyard for a Volcano. Speaking of Volcano, we're running the usual 2 of these to summon out a dino from the grave, and then we also have the 2 Elias that we had in the previous deck, which you could cut down on, even like down to 0, but I really like having 2. Theoretically, all you need is Volcano, and then you can use the extra space for more non-engine, but if you include an Elias, you can use Leos to send it and make Volcano and Leos level 6, making Lars instead of Dulka or Lagia, and if you play a second one, you could do that, and even if you draw the other Elias, you could also do another play to summon Elias to get a dinosaur from your hand on the field with its effect. I like that versatility, so I'm keeping the Elias in. Feel free to get rid of it if you don't like it. Then we have our 3 Diabellestar, who special summons herself by discarding a card and then searches the Sinful Spoil from the deck and importantly, sets it on the field. This deck is generally really good at playing under Droll and Lockbird, which is not seeing as much play anymore, but still can mess up some other decks. Really good to know that this one generally plays under it. Now for the spells and traps, starting with the Evo cards. We have 3 Evo Diversity, which is our Rhoda. This card is why I feel comfortable. We're just running 1 the yugioh. Then we have 2 Evo Force. Since we're no longer focused on the yugioh, we can cut down on Evo Force, but having 2 of them really doesn't hurt us, and lets us thin the deck if we draw 1, and no once per turn means we can tribute an Evoltile to summon an Evolstar twice in our opening turn. Just make sure you don't summon Evolstar Leos using Evo Force, because even though it treats it as a summon from an Evoltile, it doesn't treat it as a summon by a fire, reptile, or dino, which is what Leos specifically needs. Then we have our only trap card, Evo Singularity. We're on 3 now because we weren't as concerned about the consistency anymore, and this card is not only crazy, but it's also not a once per turn. That means that if you have enough Evoltiles and Evolstars in grave, you can summon Evolzars as much as you want in 1 turn. Even if you only have 1 dino and 1 reptile, you can still activate Evo Singularity after you use up the material on a previous Evolzar you made. You could even chain it to the activation of the effect to make sure you keep a negate on board, since detaching the material is cost. So don't worry at all about drawing it. Every additional copy in your hand is an additional Evolzar on your end board. Now for the Sinful Spoils. The Sinful Spoils Hunter Fiend, in addition to sounding like a Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy reference, is a quick play search spell for Diabellestar, making our 1-card combo more consistent and letting us play around Droll by activating it during the standby phase, or in response to Droll. Additionally, we can banish it to recycle one of our other Sinful Spoils, shuffling it back in the deck to draw a card, giving us much needed restoration of our card advantage. We discard so much in this deck that the draw power is much needed. The original Sinful Spoils Snake Eye is the entire reason for the package. Searchable by Diabellestar, this card sends a face-up card to grave to special summon a level 1 fire monster from deck. It being a normal spell allows it to be activated the same turn that it's set, and then we can send her or some other monster we may have on the field to summon Mega Kyrella in order to start our combo. Once it's in the grave, you can also banish it to put Diabellestar back in the deck, and then add Mega Kyrella to your hand as a follow-up play the next turn. And then lastly, we have the Sinful Spoils of Doom, Luciella. If you draw Snake Eye, you can just search this instead to turn your Diabellestar into an interruption. It's a quick play that targets a level 7 spellcaster, which is Diabellestar, but worded in a way that you can use it with Dark Magician as well, or the Horus card. There's a lot of actually just spellcasters that are level 7 or higher. Find the funniest one and put them in the comments. And then you can make that targeted spellcaster unaffected by other monsters' effects in exchange for sending it to the graveyard during the next standby phase. After that, you also get to Slifer your opponent, reducing the attack of their face-up monster by the attack of your spellcaster, 2500 in our case, and then destroying any who reach 0 attack. This is such a powerful interruption that it's well worth running even though we don't even end on Diabellestar very often, meaning it's completely dead in most games, but it's so powerful, you gotta run it. Next up, we have generic spells. We have 3 Pot of Prosperity, the ultimate way to dig deeper into our deck. With this, we can always make our 5th card in hand whatever the hell we want. Just remember though, drawing turns off Prospe, so if you draw this off of Sinful Spoils Hunter Fiend, you cannot activate it. Then we have a Foolish Burial, which is just plain good whenever you draw it. At the very least, it's going to help you thin out your deck, but you can also use it to set up Najasho for Fullest, set up Leos for Volcano, or any number of other setup plays. It just does a whole bunch of stuff for this deck. Lastly, let's talk about our non-engine. We have 3 Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, which is just generally good to have, and 3 Book of Moon, which really helps against Pearly, and it can do some funny stuff against some Link decks. Its time may have come and gone, but I don't know, I think it's still pretty good. Now for the extra deck, which looks a little bit like we were planning around Pot of Extravagance, but we can make so many Evolzars over the course of a game that I like having max copies of all of them. Except for Solda. I don't think Solda's particularly good. First up, we have everyone's favorite Xyz, Zeus, the overly powerful removal card for every Xyz deck. Then we have our Evolzars. We have 3 Lars, who can't be targeted by monster effects and does an Omni Negate for effects on field. Then if its materials are dinos or reptiles, it can attach 1 material instead of 2, giving it 2 negates in 1. Then we have 3 Lagia, which can negate summons or spells for its 2 materials. And then we have 3 Dolka, which can negate monster effects for 1 of its materials. No once returns on any of these effects, so the only limitation is the amount of materials under the monster. Then for Link monsters, we have the Big Bad Access Code Talker to clean up games, Nightmare Unicorn to make Access Code Talker, Nightmare Phoenix in case we need some main deck spell trap removal. You can easily cut this one. IP Masquerena to make one of our Link monsters on our opponent's turn to interrupt them, and the new SP Little Knight, which is also coming out in this same set, which makes for an extra option of interruption. When made with an extra deck monster, like Masquerena, you can banish a monster on field or in the grave in exchange for your ability to attack that turn, which obviously doesn't matter on your opponent's turn, which you would be doing if you use IP Masquerena. Additionally, when your opponent activates an effect, you can, as a quick effect, banish one of your monsters and any other monster on the field until the end phase, at which point your opponent's turn has been thoroughly interrupted and you get your Link material back. SP Little Knight is a crazy card. It's going to be warping the extra deck for a long time to come. Very interesting to see this card. You gotta have it, I guess. Just buy it, I guess. Get it. Buy it. Then for the side deck, we have a bunch of stuff for the previous format that it may or may not work currently. Droll and Lockbird still has some potential uses. We of course have spell trap removal in the form of Cosmic Cyclone and Harpy's Feather Duster. Dimensional Barrier is pretty everlasting, although don't try and use this against Unchained. It does not do Link monsters. A Bestial package of 1 Magnamut to Druis Worm, and then Ixie's Encore to deal with Pearly. You know, if you end up against Unchained, figure out something else to play. Just simply side differently. The format is still so young, I'm not exactly sure how to side for it, and siding for Unchained is really difficult in the first place, so, you know, just do your best. Hey everyone, this is Editor Ian in the editing room, here to ask an important question. Do you think that the card Triple Tactics Thrust, which can get you any normal spell and normal trap from the deck if your opponent interrupts you, might be good in a deck that is full of very powerful normal spells and traps. No? Okay. I guess I'll leave. Thanks, deck editing Ian, for not realizing that you could play Triple Tactics Thrust and Triple Tactics Talent, two very good cards in the current format, and they would synergize well with the deck. Thanks for that. Bye. I guess I should also mention that while I'm still not playing the Agatic package, the Agadics did also get a new card in Age of Overlord, Agatic Dark Dawn, which adds more synergy and power between Evol and Agatic, making Evol Agatic a viable option. I just prefer this version myself. I just like it better. It's a little more consistent, I think, and a little less sacky is my preference. But, you know, more power to the player. These changes that I've shown you really change the way the deck plays, so let's check out how it performs by checking out some games. So here we go with the first game. We have Evol Fullus, which is the previous, combo guy. We have the Sinful Spoils Hunter Fiend, which is going to get us out Diabellestar, which is full combo. We have the Elias in hand. You're just going to draw it sometimes, but like I said, there's ways to use it. Pot of Prosperity can get us anything, and then Evo Singularity. Like I said, every Evo Singularity in hand is another Evolzar on the end board. Our opponent is playing Super Heavy Samurai Kashtira? I don't know. Something weird. Running first, we're going to use Pot of Prosperity, dig from the top, after banishing 6 cards, Book of Moon, Evo Singularity, Evo Diversity, Bolas, Mega Kyrella, Diabellestar. We're going to grab the Evo Diversity because I have something brewing. We're going to activate Evo Diversity. We're going to grab the yugioh. That's right, baby, we're doing the yugioh combo again. First, we're going to activate Hunter Fiend. We're going to grab Diabellestar. Diabellestar pitching the yugioh to summon itself. Remember, we can get the yugioh from grave using Fullus's effect. So we're going to do just that, summoning the Fullus to get the yugioh, then activating the effect to grab the Evo Force. By the way, we got Luciella instead of Snake Eye because we didn't need it. Evo Force, we're going to summon the Elias, which will then summon the Elias, and the yugioh will summon the Leos. So now we have 2 6s on field. We can go ahead and do something, but first we're going to set an Evo Singularity. We're going to go ahead and make ourselves a Lars. We're going to use the extra monster zone just for fun. We're going to then activate the effect of Leo sending Volcano to make Diabellestar and Fullus a 4 in order to make Dulka. They're going to activate the effect of the bike. We're going to negate it with Dulka. Then they're going to Cosmic Cyclone in response. Hitting our Evo Singularity. We're going to Evo Singularity in response, and they're going to Cosmic Cyclone again, hitting Luciella. We're just going to let Luciella go. We're going to get Lars out with Evo Singularity. Lelandin is going to get banished, and then we're going to negate the motorbike. Our opponent's then going to activate Wakaushi, and then we're going to negate it. And then they're going to surrender because they cannot play the game anymore. Evols, they're very powerful. So we did technically cheat to win, but I thought it was really funny, so I decided to put it in the video anyways. But also, Lars is going to win the game anyways. I don't think the bike was what won them. What was going to win them the game. All right, so game 2, and we're up against EXA Sister. I've been playing a lot of EXA Sister recently. Is this just like a really popular deck now all of a sudden? Anyways, we have 2 Fullus, an Evo Diversity, Luciella, and Evo Force, which is not the best hand. We don't have any way to get the Diabellestar, so Luciella is just a dead card. We are going to be able to Evo Diversity to get yugioh, so we're able to do the yugioh combo again. Then we're going to summon the Fullus. We're going to use the Fullus to get the yugioh on the field. We have an Evo Force in hand, but we're going to go ahead and get the Evo Force from deck. We'll activate the Evo Force, tributing the yugioh to get Volcano, or just any dead card. Activate the yugioh to get Leos effect to set Evo Singularity. And now we can send the Elias in order to make 2 6s, so we can make Lars. Let's go ahead and make Lars. We're just going to end it there. We don't really need to do Evo Force. If we did anything with Evo Force, we would just be able to like get Elias out and it wouldn't really do anything. So no point in doing so. Our opponent is going to activate EXA Sister Pax. We're going to negate that shit. They're going to activate Called by the Grave. We're going to let that through. I don't care. What does it matter to me? Literally, I don't know why they did that. They're going to activate Triple Tactics Talent. They're going to choose to draw 2 cards. We're going to choose to not draw 2 cards. And then we're going to Evo Singularity to make another Lars. Then they're going to Rage Quit in response. If they had summoned anything, we had 2 more negates. So really the game was over. Evol just wins the game so quickly. It's crazy. Lars is such a powerful card. Going into game 3, we have Diabellestar, Mega Kyrella, and Elias. Finally, I'm not showing you the yugioh combo you've seen already before, and we're up against some sort of Dragon Link thing. We have 2 Book of Moon in hand, and this duel is going to show you why I think Book of Moon is not dead yet. We're going to summon that Mega Kyrella, pitching the Diabellestar to summon Elias effect. They're going to Magnamut, banishing Diabellestar. Unfortunately, adding the Diabellestar to the deck does make the deck have a small weakness to Bystials because it adds a dark monster to the deck. We're going to activate the effect of Elias, though, to get Elias, and we're going to overlay for Lars. They're going to get their search. We're going to set to Book of Moon. We're not, fully doing the full Diabellestar thing, but that's mainly because if we do the full Diabellestar thing, we lose a lot more card advantage, and I just wanted to limit the amount of discards we were doing. So our opponent is going to then draw. They're going to summon Black Metal Dragon. I don't want to see that thing linked off, so I'm going to go ahead and Book of Moon. And they're going to end turn. I feel like they could do something more, but they choose not to. We're going to summon Folas. Folas can get Mega Kyrella. It doesn't really do a whole lot for us, but we can get Evo Force, and then activate Evo Force, tributing Folas, and then, save Mega Kyrella for later. We're going to get Volcano, which can't do anything because there's no dinosaurs in grave to summon because we haven't used any effects yet. But even if it could, summoning Elias wouldn't really do much for us. Now they're going to link off. They're going to then get the search. We're going to negate the Striker Dragon so they don't get the field spell. They're going to get a Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. I probably should have just Book of Mooned the Black Metal Dragon again. They're going to summon the Darkness Dragon. It's just, I didn't want them to be able to crash with Magnamut. That was my thinking. And then they're going to start summoning monsters. Oh, they're going to start summoning monsters. They're summoning so many monsters. They're going to summon Romulus. I'm going to negate the Romulus. And I'm going to Book of Moon the Dark Metal Dragon so they don't get to activate its effect. And they also don't get to walk over Lars. That's another reason why I did that. Then they're going to make Seals Pass. Sometimes Seals Pass is good enough. But we drew Leos, so it's not good enough at all. We're going to flip up Mega Kyrella. They're going to preemptively Effect Veiler it, because if I tribute it, then the effect won't be able to go off. Otherwise, they're going to then bounce our Lars back to the deck, and then summon out a Baldrake off of the Seals Spheres. We're going to normal summon Leos. All of that, they did all of that. And I'm just going to normal summon Leos and do like the whole thing I wanted to do. We're going to set Evo Singularity. We're going to activate the effect of Leos, sending the yugioh just to get it engraved. Then we're going to make Dulka. They're going to activate the effect of Baldrake, tributing Darkness Dragon. We're going to negate that shit. Do not. It gets destroyed because unlike the effect of Lars, Dulka actually destroys after it negates, which is pretty good. We're going to go in for some damage. We'll pass turn. They're going to draw. They're going to summon Seifert. They're going to activate Seifert. We're going to then negate that shit. And then we're going to Evo Singularity to get another negate on board. We'll make Lars. They're going to activate the Disruptor Dragon to grab the Heavy Interlock. They're going to go battle. They're going to try and scare me into thinking that they have the Evenly Matched. They don't. Then we draw Folas for turn. We're going to Folas here. Grab the yugioh. And baby, we have full combo. We're going to set Evo Force. and they're going to surrender. And not that we could have done a whole lot. We didn't really have a whole lot of zones for Evo Force to do anything, but we had lethal on board, basically. It was all over. So that's the deck. The new changes have significantly improved this deck. Now the deck no longer falls to hand trap interruption as much, and the consistency is so improved that we get to run a lot of hand traps ourselves. I said in the last deck profile that what the deck really needs is one card combos that aren't exactly Snake Rain, and now we have them. Or rather, we always had them, but now we have a more consistent way to access them. I think these changes genuinely bring Evol up to rogue playability, and I've seen the deck putting up some results in the OCG to that effect. Obviously, the OCG is always a different format from TCG, but still, I'm optimistic for the evolution of this deck. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey there! Thanks for watching this deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know if you have any other thoughts on the build or if you played this deck and how it did. Also make sure to follow me on Twitch and Twitter for more, and maybe throw a couple bucks my way on Patreon if you like. I hope you see you again, so be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and have a wonderful rest of whatever time it is for you. Bye!